Hi, my name is Randy Remington. I serve as the chair of your financial resources team. The last practice we are addressing is extravagant generosity. Frankly, the term extravagant generosity raises a lot of questions in my mind. What is extravagant generosity? Is the basis of being extravagantly generous the tithe? Do I have to tithe to be considered extravagantly generous? What does tithing on a retirement income look like? Can I use service as a substitute for a shortfall in my giving in order to still be extravagantly generous? What did Jesus say about giving to the government and giving to the church? What does an extravagantly generous church look like? And am I personally extravagantly generous? The best definition I have seen for extravagant generosity is offering more of ourselves for the purposes of Christ and providing the resources that strengthen ministry and that help the church touch the lives of more and more people the same way our lives have been transformed by God. Certainly that definition implies that extravagant generosity extends beyond just giving of money. 1 Timothy reminds us that a generous heart is rich in the life that really is life. So what about the tithe? I have argued with our pastors and others that the tithe was developed in the ancient church so that the ancient church would have the resources to take care of both itself and those in need in the community, as the government really did not care, nor did they levy taxes to have the resources to help those in need. Frankly, I found my argument not to be true, especially in Roman times, as the Roman government probably charged the people taxes at a level that even exceeded those taxes that we pay today. In fact, Jesus said, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's." However, in that statement, Jesus did not mention what is God's or suggest the tithe. I've also argued that our pastors talk about the tithe to avoid just saying what they really need. Hey, I'm a numbers guy, and I need to be told what is needed and why before I'm willing to make a commitment. Am I saying we should ignore the tithe? Certainly not. The tithe is a giving goal, and all of us should have a giving goal. Certainly 10% of income is a reasonable goal for some, but maybe not for all of us. My personal question is, what is 10% of a retirement income? The Villages has done an excellent job selling us and providing us a wonderful lifestyle, a lifestyle that is becoming more expensive each year, but a lifestyle we certainly want to maintain. The question becomes, where do we find the money on a fixed retirement income to meet our increased lifestyle expenses? The answer is often we elect to cut down our charitable giving, we cut down on our wants spending, and we consider using a portion of our principal, which may include inherited assets. Accordingly, I would suggest that we do not need to give proportionally on any principal we use, especially if using that principal helps us maintain our lifestyle and our proportional giving. The final two questions are, what does an extravagantly generous church look like? And am I personally, along with my wife Linda, extravagantly generous with both our money and service to Lake Deaton UMC? Frankly, if we all strive to get whatever we can in both our time and money to Lake Deaton, and then tried from time to time to give just a little bit more, then I would consider all of us to be extravagantly generous. But more importantly, together we would enable Lake Deaton UMC to be an extravagantly generous church. Is that an impossible challenge, and what could we do if we were an extravagantly generous church? I will leave the answer to those two questions for you to consider and discuss in your small groups. As to whether Linda and I are extravagantly generous, I do not think anyone that is extravagantly generous really thinks about being extravagantly generous. I will leave you with those that practice extravagant generosity have a God-given vision to plant seeds for trees whose shades they will never see. My question to you is, how many seeds have you already planted, and is it possible for you to plant just a few more? If you can, then I would consider you to be striving to be extravagantly generous, and in doing so, you would help make it possible for Lake Deaton UMC to be an extravagantly generous church, capable of providing extraordinary worship, service, and mission to God-loving people now and to God-loving people in the future, people we will never know. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be part of building that legacy? Thank you, and God bless.